you don't know the story and how I started in this message, like why do I do all this? Like why did I get on the internet? Why am I interested in being here? It's because when I was 19, I got a great blessing, which is I was forced to face my mortality. You know, sometimes until you're at that point, you kind of look at what life is really about and how short it really is. You end up doing lots of other things, the distraction happens, it's so easy. And you lose a lot of your life. Did you know, by the way, if you watch 4 hours of television a day, which is what the average American adult does, 4 hours of television a day, over the course of the average adult human lifespan in America, that equates to 13 years in front of the television, 24/7. Over a decade of your life is lost. When they run the revenue models on that, usually for the standard earner in the United States of America, that's almost $1.4 million of lost revenue. Decently, like ignorantly invested, that's over $2 million of lost revenue opportunity for 4 hours of television. And maybe you're like, dude, I don't watch television. Well, a lot of people can find 4 hours of distraction in their life. Maybe your drug isn't the TV. Maybe it's the computer. Maybe you suffer from what I call browser blackout, commonly throughout the day. You're like, open up your browser and you black out. 4 hours later, you're like, what happened? And you get sucked into a YouTube wormhole. Or somehow you're like, you don't know where you turn it 4 hours later, you're like, what happened to my life? Well, those 4 hours equate to 13 years, equate to you lost $2 million because you didn't get focused that day. And something happens when you get mortality, when you get it, that life is precious and short. You don't waste as much time anymore. Like, you know, we're blessed to be here. How many people really feel just blessed to even be in a room like this, around people like this? Put your hands up. Yeah, absolutely. It's a blessing to be here because of the weather, because of the opportunity, because what you're going to learn from it, you learn from everybody else. I mean, if I saw a presentation like Pam's, when I started out like this, I'd be double where I'm at now, because I didn't know what the heck to even think about this stuff. I had no idea what I was doing. I was a 19-year-old kid, and I had a dramatic sort of circumstance in my life that taught me, you know what, I got to change, I got to get my life together. Because what had happened was, when I was 19, I got to college with my high school sweetheart. We thought we were going to get married. And so we signed up for all the classes together, went to the same college together, and, you know, that big mistake. And we go to college, and that first semester of school, she discovers beer and boys. I think it happened on the same night. And the relationship immediately fell apart. And if you've ever been there, sometimes when the relationship falls apart, you fall apart. And that's what happened to me. And so I went into school, a pretty happy-go-lucky kid, because I had really awesome parents. I was very lucky there. You know, my parents were like incredibly caring, loving, awesome people. I really lucked out in that part, I'll tell you what. You know, not that we didn't have our challenges and struggles, but I lucked out. I mean, I remember, I grew up, if you don't know, I'm from Butte, Montana originally. Small Irish mining Catholic town that has been economically depressed for about 100 years. And my parents working full-time jobs, between the two of them, hard work, never earned $40,000 a year. So I thought if I could ever earn $40,000 a year doing anything, I'd be rich and rich and rich and rich. And I mean, it was so bad, one year the heater goes out in the house, and if you're in Montana and it's winter and the heater goes out, it's not an inconvenience. It's a life and death situation. It is not a good situation. The heat goes out. My dad has to wait until we get the next paycheck, which is 2 weeks away, until we can afford to fix the heater. And in Montana, in the winters, especially in Butte, Montana, with the wind chill factor, you're talking 30, 40 below zero commonly. And so my parents, my mom, being so resourceful, she goes and opens up the garage. She gets out our tent from camping, and she goes and sets the tent up in the living room. She gets the sleeping bags, the parkas, the blankets, and sets it up in the tent. Our electricity goes out a couple days later, so mom is cooking dinner on Bunsen burners, the little camper burners. But their mentality amidst the struggle, their attitude amidst the struggle, was we were camping. Us kids were walking to school, we're like, we're camping. Where'd you sleep last night? I slept in the tent in my living room.